Hello everyone and welcome back to the Right Turn Randy channel. Today on the Tide car, we're doing the fuel system. The original system is this fuel cell back here. Goes into that 5/16 line through the back firewall. And it has just a small drop down tube that goes all the way almost to the bottom of the fuel cell. You can see like where that positioning is. It's not very good under acceleration, pulling fumes instead of fuel. So that runs underneath the car on the passenger side through hardline. Comes up right down there, up the firewall into this filter. From the filter, it goes underneath this bar right here and down to the mechanical fuel pump that then goes up and around to the carburetor. Since I'm only running 6 to 8 PSI, I'm not really worried about just running it with hoses and clamps right now. Maybe in the future I'll go with a full Army Navy fittings on everything, but right now I don't think it's necessary, especially since I don't know if this is the final way the fuel system is going to be worked out or not. The pump I got for the fuel system is a Carter rotary vane pump. It's a 50 gallon per hour, internally regulated from 4 to 7 PSI. So I should be able to deadhead this, and it has an internal bypass. So I shouldn't have to worry about running a return line or anything like that. That's going to be mounted to this bracket here, and it's going to go right down in between there. 50 gallons per hour should be plenty. I think it'll support up to 600 horsepower or something like that from what I understand. The 3/8 line that I'm using will also support up to 600 horsepower. If I ever end up going beyond that, of course I'll need to upgrade the fuel system, but I think for what I'm doing right now, it's going to be just fine. Okay, so I need to install a 3/8 bulkhead in here. I'm going to drill it right here and then have a piece of hose that goes down back to the back corner. Getting my hand in here is really difficult, so I don't know exactly how I'm going to get, because there's a washer and a nut that needs to go on the other end of this bulkhead. I'm thinking if I can get it here, I'll be able to get my hand underneath to hold this washer and this nut. But if I drop them, they're going to sink to the bottom, and this tank is almost full of fuel. But there's no other way to do that aside from draining the whole tank and completely taking it out, and I don't really want to go that route. I'm going to try and get this Christmas tree bit. It looks like the third step is where I want to be at. Woohoo. Man, that goes down in there fast. Really hoping I don't drop these, because otherwise I have to fish them out of the bottom of the tank. Okay, I can hold the washer there and then reset on the bowl here. Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is, okay. Now I need to get a 5/8, I think, wrench on that. Nice and tight. Okay. Alright, that's got it. I just gotta put the line on and I'll be good. Oh man. Oh, that I don't know if I can actually do. Just don't drop it. I just gotta tighten that bolt on the hose and it should be good to go. Getting in there to tighten that hose clamp was no easy task, but I'm pretty sure this bulkhead is solid. I was putting in the fittings that came with the pump. Unfortunately, they're too big. Those are like 7/16 barb fittings. So I went up to the store and I got some 3/8 barb fittings. Just at O'Reilly's, they were on the little carousel thing there. So I'm gonna use these instead, and then they'll be able to fit in the hose hopefully. Here's a quick tip. If you can't get to a nut on the other side of a bolt with both hands because you can't reach all the way around, Just put a pair of vice grips on it and that will hold the bolt. If you do that, it's almost as good as having a real person there to help you. Yeah. Okay, so I've got the fuel pump completely plumbed. There's a lot of excess here because I'm gonna have to build a splitter once I get both carburetors on top. But for right now, I just have one line going into the old carburetor. I think I pretty much got everything done and set to go. I have this wire right here needs to be zip tied still. That's the power for the fuel pump. Can't think of anywhere where it'd be leaking, but that's why you test, right? All right, so here goes. B is the pump, so we'll flip that. And there it goes. Should be pressurizing everything. And here it going. See, fuel is flowing through there. No leaks back here. There aren't any leaks under the car because it's only one line all the way under the car, so no leaks here. Everything's looking good. So let's see if it starts. Ignition. There it is. Running on the new fuel system. Running real smooth too. I also added that ground strap over there, and I grounded the MSD box. So it should be running even better than it was before. Let's see what the AFRs are. It's like right at 14. Man, it's running awful good though. Sounded like it was running really good. And you know what? It was running good. Or so it seemed. It is like super unhappy right now. Like super duper unhappy. And my wideband quit working. Okay, I tried to get it out of the garage. That's not happening. And all I've done is ground the motor. I put a ground strap over there that's good and solid, and I grounded the box casing also. And now it's extra pissed. Like, does not want to run like hardly at all, and it's backfiring everywhere through the intake, through the exhaust regularly. Good news though, the AFR sensor is working again, so that's good. But I wanted to show you guys what exactly is going on, because I have the coil hooked up right here to the box and everything's wired. And when the coil comes over here to a spark tester, you can see how big the gap is in that spark tester. So now, when I crank this over, it fires nice and strong across that, coming straight from the coil. Now I should have ignition. I know I've got spark going into the cap. So that's plug 3, it's going into the spark tester, and that is such a tight gap. There's no excuse for the spark to not be able to travel across that. So now watch what this spark looks like when I crank it through the distributor cap and rotor and through the spark plug wire. Nothing, even with a gap that small. I can even tighten it up even more. Now it sparks. See how erratic it is? And really weak, and it's dropping pulses everywhere. So if I start backing it off, it goes away. So something is happening between the cap and rotor and the spark plug wire, but I know it's not the spark plug wire. I know it's not the ground, because the ground is grounds are super solid. So it has to be in the cap and rotor. That's a brand new cap and rotor, pro billet MSD. I can't imagine what would be wrong with it, but something is going on in the cap, because spark is going in, it's just not coming out. It's just not coming out. All right, we're still working on this ignition problem. The MSD Pro billet that I got, I checked the ohms reading on the magnetic pickup and it's a little low. I called MSD and talked to them about the issue that I'm having, and they told me to send back the distributor. So they're going to RMA it, and I should be getting a new one. The turnaround's like 15 days. I've spent the last 2 days just trying to get this thing to start. I put the old HEI back in it, and the old HEI should be working just fine. It's got a much weaker spark than the MSD did, but it should be working. And I'm thinking, since I put the old ignition back in and now it's still not going to start, I'm thinking that maybe something's going on with the carburetor. The carburetor could be clogged or something from some junk getting through the lines. The car went from having a little bit of a miss to will not run at all now. So I've been beating my head against this thing for the last 2 days and haven't been able to figure it out. The only thing I can think of right now is that it's not the ignition system at all, but it's actually the carburetor. So I'm going to swap out the carburetor for the new carburetor and see if that fixes the problem or changes anything at all. So that's where we stand right now. Not every video is gonna have a happy ending, but stay tuned, because we're gonna get this thing fixed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the videos, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Stupid mother...